Hey, yeah.
Man, so I recorded about 80% of that album when we was in quarantine. So that's unfortunately came out last year. So yeah, I recorded like 80% of it, maybe even 75% of it in 2020. COVID took away my job and it kind of just gave me all this free time, obviously. So I transferred my free time into some raps, and I didn't know I was making an album when these songs were being created. I was just making songs at the time. And I was like, okay, this is dope. And then I was like, okay, I might have a project. And I kept going. That's unfortunate. It's just something that I say all the fucking time because shit just be unfortunate, and I don't have no answer to anything else. I just be like, that's unfortunate, and then just keep shit pushing. So I don't know. I felt like it made sense to title the album that, and it's also a theme behind it too, like people bringing other problems to you that's not really worth your time or like your issue. Yeah. Like that's kind of my answer to that. People who expect things out of me that like aren't realistic, or because like they get things from other people, they expect a certain thing out of me. That's my answer to that. Going through relationship issues, whether it be my own fault or like someone else's fault, that is my answer to that. It's pretty much just about keeping shit pushing, like me not dwelling on things, me understanding my worth and my time. And if you don't like it, that's unfortunate for you, because I'm still gonna do whatever the fuck I want to do. That's pretty much what the album is about.
So you talking about you were recording them. So you originally, were they all going to be singles you were going to drop?
I've never been like the singles person, bro. Like that pretty much is like the wave, like doing singles and EPs and shit like that. I've never been that type of person. I've always been the empty the clip type of artist, and I put a lot of time and craft into albums. So I don't know. I was just making these songs, not really knowing what I was gonna do with them yet. Like they would have got dropped eventually, but I was just kind of just making them, and they kind of came relatively fast. So like before I knew it, I had like 7 records, and I had never really like made songs that fast before. And by that time, I was like, okay, I could probably turn this into an EP. By the time that happened, I started making more songs, and then I probably had about 12 to 15 songs. And I was like, okay, I probably am ready for an album. But by the time I said that, I didn't think anyone knew I was putting the album out, and that is a problem for me. If people are familiar with my work here, like, you know when I'm about to put an album out, because I go really hard about my campaigns. And because I noticed that, I was like, nah, fuck that. I'm not putting it out. So I waited. I was supposed to put it out of March of last year. Didn't end up putting it out till September of last year. Probably the best decision I made last year. But yeah, the process was all kind of like over the place, but like it came together at the end, I guess. Yeah.
Talk about some of the features on there. You got Too Rich, Benji, Pink Sufu. How did those come about, and how did you want to place your features strategically? Or is that kind of something you're like, oh, like these are my dope buddies, like they got great music, I want them on? Or was it more of a strategic kind of pool?
I mean, a little bit of both, because like I have to be able to hear people on records. I'm one of those people that like things have to make sense in order for me to do them. Sifu just had to be over here. He just happened to be over here, and we was listening to some beats. Demaje had sent the beat for Peace, and like we was like, this is hard. He wrote his verse. I pretty much had a verse for it, and that song happened within like an hour. Like between us getting the beat, him writing the verse, and us laying it down, like we probably did it in like an hour and a half. Like just kept it pushing. Benji is on Lights Out. Shout out to Benji. Shout out to GK fam. I had Lights Out months before Benji was on it, but I was like, I only had the verse, and I was like, I feel like this needs something else. I had teased that song a lot on the internet. I had sent it to people, and people was like, this is dope, this is dope, this is dope. And I didn't tell anyone I was getting Benji on it. So that was kind of like a surprise, and I thought that was really dope, because me and Benji don't make like the same type of music sonically. Yeah. So the fact that we was able to like come together and like make something meant a lot to me. So So that was cool. I got Trigno, Peso, and Harry Up and Die on Maintaining. Trigno is a rapper out of Columbus. Peso and Harry are both GK fam members along with Benji and Pink Sifu. That song came about, bro. I wanted to just make like a posse song. Like you remember like One Train from A$AP Rocky's first album?
Yeah.
So it was like A$AP Rocky, Big Crit, Joey Badass, Yellow Wolf, I think Action Bronson, Kendrick, I think, was on it. Like I wanted to like create one of those moments because I feel like people don't do that anymore.
Yeah,
like
they get a ton of different artists from music levels and things like that.
You know what I mean? So that was me kind of paying homage to that. I have Boy and Josh Jetson on Everlasting. Boy is actually a singer from Australia. Josh is a pianist and I think a vocalist from a band called Flocks that are from here. But I think they are in Chicago right now. I got Zanelle on Pull Up. She is a songstress from Columbus by way of Memphis, I believe. I reached out to her. I've produced records for her. I reached out, I was like, yo, can you lace me with some background vocals? She was like, of course. Like that shit sexy. Who else is on there? I got Eden. I got Dead is Art on the song called Eden. He's from somewhere from Pennsylvania. He's a rapper from Pennsylvania, I believe. That's the homie. I've produced records for him as well. Am I forgetting anybody? That might be it. Perez and Wayne Fowler are on Halfway Asleep. This is a lot of stuff to just remember. It's a lot. And those two are my homies. I've done work with Perez. I've engineered records for Wayne Fowler. He's a rapper from Cincinnati, as well as Perez. And then I think that is it. Oh, and then Bad did my poem. She's a poet from Cincinnati. She's the first voice you hear on the whole album. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So how did all that come together? You obviously have artists from kind of all around the Midwest and different things, even internationally. Was that you reached out to them? You said you worked with some of them, but like how did like some of the internationals like come about? Was that just
so specifically with Boy? He and Swooty Mac did a record on the album that I produced for Swooty called Sunday Morning. We did a deluxe. They have a song, I forget what the fucking song is called, and I'm so terrible, but whatever. But he did a song for him. I was like, this nigga's cold. And then I reached out, was like, yo, I'm trying to work. He was like, bet. And I gave him the song. And I was like, I don't even know what I want you to do. Can you just like fill this space in for me really quick? And he was like, yeah, send it to me in a week. I was like, bro, you did exactly what I wanted you to do, even though I didn't even know what I wanted you to do. You know what I mean? So that's how that came about. I literally just reached out. I developed some sort of a relationship with him through Swoot, and he was cool people. I'm cool people, and it kind of just worked out. You know what I mean? Shout out to Boy. Shout out to Australia.
Okay, so this is just a segment we do sometimes. I just like to throw out some random questions, just kind of see what you think. Mm-hmm. Do you think a gorilla or a bear would win in a fight? A grizzly bear or a gorilla?
A grizzly bear or a gorilla? I feel like a gorilla gonna take it. I don't know why. I just feel like a gorilla might.
It's the thumbs, I feel.
I really feel like the thumbs got a lot to do with it. Like, he could just, like, fuck the bear eye up with his thumbs or something. Like, and the bear be fucked up. He don't know what to do. I gotta say a gorilla. No one's ever asked me this before. That's great. That is hard.
And then our personal favorite we've always gotten, I think people like, is a hot dog a sandwich? Question. That's always been a fan favorite. What do you think? Do you think it's more of a taco? Because I'm in the taco camp because of the way you fold it.
Is a taco a sandwich?
I don't think so. I think a taco's a taco.
Okay. I feel like a hot dog could be considered a sandwich because it's bread.
Okay.
That's the only reason why.
See, I think a sandwich has to be a top and bottom piece of bread.
Is that not a top and bottom?
Yeah, but it's an opening though, so is it really a top?
But okay, you ever like make a hot dog and the hot dog fall through the middle, and now you just got two pieces of bread, and it ain't no more buns, and you're like, damn, like I'm not about to just not eat. and you gotta put the buns together. What is that? Is that not a sandwich now?
Well, I guess yeah. If you don't do all that, I think you can consider it a sandwich.
Okay, so it can be a sandwich when it wants to be.
Okay.
I like that answer.
I just like to, throw a little funniness in there, So talk about your process of making music, basically. Like, has it always been the same for you, especially with That's Unfortunate? We talked a little bit before we filmed about how now you really want to focus on the post-release of it. Mm-hmm. So to kind of talk about that, have you always been kind of someone who's done it all at once, and now you're realizing maybe I need to focus more kind of on the post? Or, kind of talk about that and how you've come to where you want to be.
Well, I think specifically with this body of work, because I think it's my longest, I wanted to make sure that like I had something to go into the new year with, and like we talked about, like people get an album and in 2 weeks they on to something else. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't want that to happen for me, because like I put a lot of effort and time behind crafting this, and I feel like it's one of the ones that people should give a fuck about. If I had to choose one project that people should give a fuck about, it would probably be this one, at least in this moment in time. And I don't know. I feel like to tell people that your album dropped after the album is more important than, or just as important as telling people before it dropped, because like, people's attention span is they on to something else all the time. So it's like you kind of are doing yourself a disservice if you're kind of like, okay, my album dropped, whatever. You know what I'm saying? So it's more so for myself to it's like kind of like discipline to like be like, okay, just because your album is out don't mean like the work stops. You know what I'm saying? You still got to promote, let people know that don't know that this is out, try to go touch people outside of your general area that you can reach people in, and yeah, just try to do more. I feel like a lot of the times before with a lot of my music, I used to worry about the before the post. This one, I feel like I did a decent amount of both. Like this album, I never had an album release show or a listening party like prior to this album. I've been on a scene almost 9 years. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I put out countless bodies of work. You know what I'm saying? But this is like the first time I ever did any of that, and I feel like it was important for me to do so, and I gotta start treating every release like that. You know what I'm saying? It's important. I feel like the post-release is just as important as the pre-release.
So you say you've never done like an album release show, party like that. So how do you go about promoting your music and making sure that people know that it's out and that it's so great, even a month or 2 months later?
Having a general album title like That's Unfortunate helps, because like if you hear that in passing or if you say that, then I'm pretty sure like the next thought you have is going to be Devin Burgess. That helps. It's like a cheat code, like low key. Talking about it, like this has also been like the first time where I haven't been like reluctant to talk about my music. Like before, I would be on the internet and be like, I don't want to talk about it, or like I wouldn't show people records prior to me like releasing them. But this one I was like, nah, this is the one for me, and I give a fuck about this. Not to say that I didn't give a fuck about the things that I did before, but like this one I was like, I really give a fuck about, like, and in real time. A lot of my projects, I used to like appreciate them after the fact. I was appreciating this in real time. You know what I'm saying? This one was like, it was special to me in a way, but not special in like a deep way. I don't know. I just felt different doing this one. Yeah.
What was that? Was it because of the production on it? Was it because of the people you had on it? Or overall, you just felt like this was your best body of work today?
I don't know. It's not, I can't even like put the shit into words. It's just that like when I was creating these records, I was like, yeah, like in real time.
Like
and
you knew it.
Yeah, it's just a feeling. And like I operate 90% off of feeling when it comes to creativity. Like if that shit feels right, or like I get something from it, like I'm cool with it. I like to listen to my music a lot, and I get sick of my music a lot by doing that. A lot of the stuff that I was making, I wasn't getting sick of. Like even months after, I mean, cause shit, by the time these records came out, a lot of those records have been a year old to me. You know what I'm saying? So I've been constantly listening to them just to make sure like they still hit in every which type of setting I could test it in, and they all like showed up. So I don't know. I just felt it. I was like, I could feel myself putting my best foot forward without me like mentally having it try. Like, I don't know.
What's your ultimate listening test? A car ride, in the studio, a smoke session? Like, what's your ultimate test?
All of that. So like so everything obviously got to come from the studio first. From then, I'd probably do like an iPhone test. I'll do 1,000 million different fucking car tests in different cars. Just because, you know, everyone's systems sound different, and music ain't gonna always sound the same as it does when it leaves the studio. Like, it's gonna hit on different mediums, you know what I'm saying? But the car test for sure, the iPhone test is essential because a lot of people are just listening just like this now, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, the car is important. I make a lot of my music for people to like ride and drive to. That's primarily why the album is so long, because it's like, you know, if you are a commuting type of person, like I commute a lot, then like, you know, you can put an album on and just listen to that bitch and drive to your destination. That's really what this is for me. Like, it's like one of the ones you just put on when you in the whip.
All right, so you talked about you've been on the music scene about 8-9 years in Cincinnati, basically. What have you seen that's changed over time, and where do you feel like it's going to go in the future?
What have I seen that's changed over time? I can definitely say like the people that I came up with as far as like my generation of Cincinnati hip hop artists, we probably were the most like unified to a degree. If you talk to some of the cats that was on the scene before me, they would probably say that like they weren't as unified as we are now. Like, I feel like everyone is looking out for each other to some degree. I'm specifically speaking on like my generation of people. Everyone was looking out for people. There was always like shows and shit. Like, bro, it was a point where like every day there was a show going on, or like there was multiple shows, and like you had to like literally choose which ones you was gonna go to. Like you couldn't make all of them. Like now it's not that way anymore, because of COVID. COVID kind of took a lot of shit away. A lot of venues got like new management and shit. There's newer artists on the scene, and people is cool, but shit is kind of weird right now. I'm not even gonna hold you. Like, niggas is weird, and I'm just staying in the house. Like, I'm not even about to get into politics with people. There's a lot of cloudy internet things going on. Again, I'm just staying my ass in the house, just making my little songs or whatever. So like where it's going, I don't know. I feel like this shit kind of getting a little whack again. But if you kind of don't really pay that much attention to it anymore, or really give a fuck, because you're gonna keep it pushing and make a way for yourself regardless. And that's what I'm doing for myself. Of course, I always have love for anyone. I do anything for anybody here. You know what I'm saying? I'm accessible. I tell people to use me as a fucking resource, because I'm not gonna be here forever. You know what I mean? So use me while I'm here. But like, other than that, I be cool on a lot of shit now. Like, I don't go out the house unless I really need to or have to be there. Motherfuckers just be doing stuff just to look cool on the internet, and it be like apparent as fuck.
Yeah.
I'm not going, so I just be in the crib. Whatever happens, but I feel like some good to come out of all of this. Like, I'm not a big negative Nancy all the time, but, you know, I just call a spade a spade.
So what do you think really attracts people to you? Do you think it's like the way you produce music, the way you carry yourself? Is it your aesthetic? You got, especially in Cincinnati, you have kind of people in different aspects of music that are different for things. Like, you have Suicide Rascal. A lot of people love the aesthetic of him. Mm-hmm. You have different things like that. What do you feel like draws people to you? Is it just you being real, do you think?
I don't know. I wish I knew the answer, because like I think I self-loathe a lot. So like when people tell me that like they fuck with my music and that I'm dope and all that shit, I'm like, for real? Like, that's crazy. Like, and I say that so much that people probably think that I'm putting on a front, but like that's how real it is for me. Is like, I don't expect anyone to like know who the fuck I am, or like listen to my music, or like know the words to my songs. You know what I'm saying? None of that shit. Even my homies, you know what I'm saying? Just because, I don't know, I just don't expect it. I don't expect anything from anyone. So when people come up to me and say that shit really does mean a lot. So like, but what attracts them to me, I don't know. Hopefully, like, you know, being a dope individual. I feel like people know like I'm a hustler, and like I be everywhere and nowhere at the same time. Yeah. I feel like a lot of it has to do with respect too. Like, I'm respected a pretty decent amount. I like to think my work ethic, I don't know. Maybe they can answer that question for me because I'd like to know too. Because I have no idea.
We'll make that a question we can ask him.
Yeah, please.
Jay, you want to ask you anything? I know you like Devin a lot.
Yeah, I got a couple questions.
Okay.
I mean, you worked with Overcast. Like, how'd you get hooked up with him?
Man, so like I found out about Overcast like on SoundCloud, like on some accidental shit. One of the homies, his producer name is Fuzzy Buttocks. He flipped one of his joints, and I was like, "This is dope." And then like maybe some months or like a year later, Seafood was telling me about him, and I was like, "Oh, okay, I know about him." He was like, "Y'all need to link and do something together." I was like, "Okay," and I never reached out or anything. Me and Overcast ended up on the same compilation tape that Fuzzy produced, and he was like, "I don't know who this nigga Devin Burgess is, but he went crazy," and I was like, "That's so crazy. This motherfucker know who I was and like was, you know, gave me love and shit." And I was like, "Yo, thank you. I fuck with your shit. You dope as fuck too." He was like, "Bet." I'm like, "I'm trying to work." He said, "Say less." He sent me a pack of beats. I bought 3 of them off of him, and yeah, we work. I'm trying to get some more shit off of him like soon. Like ideally, I would like to do like a whole project where he could produce the shit and I could get my raps off. But yeah, he was real cool about it. He showed me love. He's supportive of my shit. It was very organic. Like I hadn't met him in person or anything because you know he's like West Coast based and shit. But yeah, shout out to Seafood for kind of like bridging that gap, and for Fuzzy for bridging that gap too. Because if we wasn't on the same tape together, he might not even know who the fuck I was. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah.
What else? I mean, like, what's next for you? I mean, you're still pushing this album, but like, you know, you got any other plans? Plan on moving out, or you gonna stay here for a while?
I mean, ideally, I would like to, you know, go somewhere else, take my talents to Long Beach, whatever the fuck I need to do. It just has to make sense. And so far, nothing for me has like made sense. So like until that moment happens, I'm pretty much chilling. With that, of course, I'm not chilling. I'm always gonna be working. I think my next focus, as far as like music, is gonna be I'm finally gonna put "I'm Retired" out. That was something I was supposed to put out like I think in like 2017, and it just didn't happen the way I wanted it to. Like I wasn't done with the album. Like I had all these records, but I just wasn't done with the album. I'm at a point where like I know when something is finished and when something is not, and I'm not gonna put out anything I don't think is finished, and it just wasn't done. And that's kind of how Trash came about. Like I put Trash out to like hold people over for "I'm Retired," but I done put out like 5 other albums since then. So I need to finish this. I owe it to No Face. No Face is the producer that is going to be producing the whole thing. He is a producer out of Colorado, I think Denver. Yeah. And yeah, I think I'm gonna try to push that. Towards like the end of the year, some retired raps. I'm about to get back on my retired shit. I'm about to be real annoying again. And before that, I think just definitely expect me producing more albums for people. I got some projects in the works with a couple artists. Some more visuals, doing some shows out of the state, out of town. Definitely doing more out of town shows. You know, just engineering for bigger artists. I've engineered for like I mix a couple people's vocals that are dope that I'll say like off camera because I don't want to get nobody in trouble. But yeah, just basically doing what I'm doing just on a larger scale, man. Like I still want to be performing, I still want to be mixing vocals, I still want to produce for people. I just am ready to do it on like a larger scale. You know what I'm saying? So like the work is never gonna stop. I'm a workaholic. This is what I do. This is what I love to do, and I'm gonna keep on doing it.
Nice. Yeah, I got like 1 or 2 more.
Okay.
So I think starting out, like, you know, you didn't really have a name for yourself. No one does when they first start out.
Right.
How'd you start, like, garnering, you know, your popularity here? Like, how'd you start working with people? Like, it seems like you're the go-to guy for mixing, mastering records here, like, especially in the hip hop scene.
Yeah, definitely.
So, like, how'd you get to that point?
Definitely one of them. How did I get to that point? I don't know. I feel like I just stayed consistent. Shit, I mean, I got into mixing and mastering in general just because I got sick of paying for studio time. I was like, I can figure out how the fuck to do this. You know what I'm saying? I don't like to have to tell a person to do this and do this and do this. I feel like an asshole. Like, even though if I'm paying you to do it, I'm gonna feel weird about doing that shit. So, like, I don't know. I made it known that I was mixing music for people. I used to do it just like for the homies, like on the side, like for like $20 an hour. You know what I'm saying? Like for like nothing. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I just kept doing it. People used to always ask me, who mixes your music? I do. Oh, word. Like, are you doing this for freelance? Okay, sure. I'll do it. Couple years ago, I offered mobile studio services. Like, if you couldn't pull up to the studio, I would like come to you. So like, I packed all my shit, had my laptop, had like a little interface like this and my mic, and pulled up and did that shit for people. I think that like my dedication, and people know that I give a fuck, and it's not just monetary when they pay me. Like, people know that like I give a fuck about their record. You know what I'm saying? Because my name has to go on it. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Everything that I'm doing, I'm building a portfolio for myself. So like, anything that has my name on it, it has to be of quality as if it was my own. You know what I'm saying? So like, I think people know that. And because I am one of the engineers that was an artist first. Some engineers are just engineers. I was an artist, so I know how to talk to artists. I know how to articulate what their brain can't articulate sometimes. You know what I'm saying? The artist-engineer dynamic is like crazy as far as like when it comes to the creative process. I know how to like cut between all that shit. I feel like that's one of the reasons why people come to me, because they know I just understand things that they don't have to explain. That's not something you could pay for. I mean, of course you pay me, but like, that's not something that everybody has that you can just pay for. You know what I'm saying? You can only get it from like specific people, and I feel like that's one of the things that have people coming back. Yeah. I just know what's up.
Oh yeah. Word. I don't know. I mean, this is some technical stuff, but you use the 404 like for almost all your stuff. Like, do you run your record through it?
No,
like that?
I don't, and I'm such a bitch, man. Like, I don't know, like I don't ever fucking think about it, like until after the fact. Yeah. Like I put the album out, and then I text one of my homies. I was like, bro, I should have put this shit through the 404. Yeah. Like, cause that just would have gave it like a little extra sauce. You know what I'm saying? But you know, doing without. Like, I know how to make my shit sound that way digitally, and like, so like my brain always goes to that first. I use my 404 mainly to DJ. You know what I'm saying? I don't even make beats on it. Okay. Like, I use it to do beat sets, and then like to DJ, like when I do my DJ sets and shit, and that's it. Like, I don't even run my beats through it. Like, when you know what I'm saying? Like, I just put the beats on there and just, you know, do whatever. But I really like don't utilize that thing as like well as I should, and that's why I say I'm a bitch, because I really should be like, I should be doing that shit more service, but I kind of like, you know, I do something different with it though. Like what I use it for is different, you know, than like what the average person uses it for, and I feel like what I do with it is pretty fucking dope. Like, I can do a lot with that thing, and I could do more with it too if I just stop being a bitch.
Yeah, that's interesting. I thought you made most of your beats on it, like just chopping up samples on it. I am
Ableton to the day I die. Like, that's what I use. I just get up and just use Ableton, man. Like, I don't ever really think about it. I need to challenge myself and like just do it. Like, I literally know how to do it. It's very time consuming. And that is, I'm just not the most patient person. And with Ableton, I can just, you know what I mean? But nah, it's dope. I've definitely made a few beats in there. It's different, and it's very rewarding when you like can make something dope in the 404 for sure. It's different than Ableton, because, you know, everything's just digital. But like the fact that you can like tape something in this little box and make a whole creation out of it is fucking cool.
So if you could get an internship, basically being an apprentice for anybody in the music scene, who would it be?
Ooh, can it be for like a label as well?
Yeah, it could be for anyone.
If I could be an intern for anybody, damn, that is a good question.
TDE, I know you're a big Isaiah Rashad fan.
Yeah, but I'm trying to think like whose lives is probably more interesting.
Griselda.
I was thinking West Side Gun. That was the first person I thought.
Yeah.
Cause I feel like his life is crazy.
Yeah, it's gotta be.
I was gonna say Kanye, but I feel like I'll probably get annoyed very fast. Or like frustrated very fast. I'm gonna go with my friend. Yeah, I would say West Side Gun, probably. I don't know. I feel like his life is like crazy. So I would just like to see what the fuck this nigga just be doing on like a regular day. Hell yeah. And I probably get to hear ad-libs all the time. Boom, 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 boom.
What gives you your biggest rush? Is it when you're performing? Is it when you're making music? Because everybody that's seen you live knows how you go hard when you perform.
Yeah.
Everybody knows. So what just gives you the biggest head rush?
Probably performing. I typically whenever I do shows, before I get on stage, I'm like, bro, I'm ready to go home. Like, I don't even want to be here for real. I just that sometimes, but then like as soon as I get on stage, like all of that shit like exits my body, and I just like I do the first song, feed off the crowd. Okay, they fucking with me. Do the second song. Okay, they still fucking with me, and like as long as they like giving me energy, I'm gonna always give that energy back. And even if they don't, I'm gonna still give energy back. But yeah, definitely performing. Nothing beats being on stage to me. Like the create, like even like making music, like that's cool, and like the outcome of you making a song, that's great. But like being on stage, I don't know, nothing compares to it to me. But yeah, I would say that part, the stage for sure.
Where's been your favorite performance live?
I'm not gonna hold you. My motherfucking album release party was fucking lit. That shit was super lit. Everyone that I love was there. It was my event. I had like little to no issues. Yeah. I got out that bitch when I said I wanted to get out that bitch. So that was at the Mockbee. I mean, shit, I've even performed at Bogarts, and that was dope. That was back in like 2016. That was cool. Yeah, probably those two moments. Off just the top of my head, the Bogart shit and my album release party back in September. Yeah.
So tell people who may not know, where did Keisha come from? Like, explain that for people that just don't really know about that.
Okay, y'all need to prepare yourself for the most like lackluster ass story ever, cause it's not interesting. Okay, so me and Swoop was in LA. We was very high. We was having a conversation about our moms at the time for whatever reason. Blah blah blah. I was like, yeah, my mom, when she was pregnant with me, she low key was expecting me to be a girl. Like she had like my name picked out and everything. And I was like, she said it was going to be something with a K, but I don't remember what it was. And he was like, she was going to name you Keisha, wasn't she? I was like, no, she wasn't going to name me fucking Keisha. But I was like, that's funny you say that. Put a pin in it. A couple months later, or like a month later, I had a Halloween show to DJ for. Costume party. I was like, well, I'm not about to be the only person there without a costume. I'm gonna at least wear a wig. Went to the Halloween store, got one for like $17.99. And then when I put the wig on, I recalled the conversation that I had with Swoop, and I was like, I'm Keisha now. And then the rest has been history. Like it really was just like a high conversation that I had with my friend, and I just rolled with it.
Those usually turn out the best.
Yeah, I mean, it's been working for me a lot. Like, I just be saying stuff because I'm a goofy individual, and it just works with my brand, and people understand me and accept me. That's all I could ever ask for. But yeah, it works. I don't know. She upstairs chilling. I was gonna bring her down here, and I was like, nah, not today. Because people have been telling me like, some people haven't seen me without my wig on. Mm-hmm. And then some people like don't recognize me without it on. Like, as funny as that is, I don't like it because I'm a person. so like I try to switch it up. So some interviews I've had it on, and some interviews I won't have it on. But I need people to also see me with my actual hair, because I'm not gonna have that wig on forever. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, eventually I'm gonna be like, fuck this shit, and I'll move on to something else. Because that's just how it happens. Like, before, I was the nigga just walking around Cincinnati in a fucking big ass robe all the fucking time, and like kimonos all the time. You know what I'm saying? And then like I got sick of that, but people knew me for that. So like when I stepped out, if I didn't have my robe on, people didn't fucking recognize me. So like, that's dope and that's cool, but it's like, I'm also a person that wears regular clothes. You know what I mean? And I just moved on to the wig thing, and eventually I'll move on to something else. What that will be, I have no idea.
Ooh.
It'll just
Make
happen.
that a fan vote. What we think the next iteration.
What do you think Devin's gonna do next? I'm sick. That's funny.
I got one. So do you think it's like important to have like a little thing about you to have like that recognition? Like you said, like people recognize you because you were always in the robes. Like, now they recognize you, Keisha. Like everyone says Keisha, everyone says new Keisha.
Yeah.
It was like that's just how it goes. Like, do you think that's important?
It helps. It definitely helps. It's branding at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? I don't necessarily know what my like aesthetic is or what like my brand is. I'm just me. I'm just a person at the end of the day. I'm still trying to figure all this shit out. So I use that and it just works. I have to be like easily identifiable. So like if you just see a random black guy out with a wig on, it's like 9 out of 10 chances it's probably me. And you just like already know that. You know what I mean? And even though that may not like translate to music all the time, it still like resonates with people. And being in the music business, it means you're in the people business too as well. You know what I'm saying? You have to get people to like you and make sure like you are a decent person as much as they like your fucking music or whatever art you're trying to present to them. You know what I'm saying? So it just makes it just helps with branding, and like people can associate me with something. So like now if they hear Keisha out anywhere, you might think of me and as an afterthought. You know what I'm saying? That might like program you to go put my music on. You know what I'm saying? Just shit like that. Like it helps like on some long-term shit. It definitely helps because you know, people aren't just gonna just be flocking to your music. You have to have something else to like bring to the table, because anyone can just put songs together, but what is gonna be the thing that sets you apart from everyone else is doing the same thing you're doing? I put a wig on. That's funny. Yeah, nah, people come up to me, ask me if I'm gay, all types of shit. Like, nah, man. Yeah, I'm just like, I just can't just wear a wig, bro, just because I want to wear a wig.
I was
like,
wondering that, like if people like.
Yeah, oh yeah, I definitely got that question a few times last year. No, it doesn't bother me. Like, I understand.
Do it be by artists or just like regular ass motherfuckers?
Both.
Interesting.
Yeah, like, yeah, that's happened to me by both. And it's cool, like, I get, but like, I don't know why someone would associate that with that. So like, at first it was weird, but like I get people's ignorance. But no, I'm just a heterosexual male that just wants to put a wig on. No harm in that at all. Has nothing to do with my sexuality whatsoever. It's none of your business, but nah.
Like, you don't think it would ever be a problem like working with an artist that you want to work with? Do you think they would like be all sussed out by it or anything, or like?
It's room for that to happen. If I'm good at reading energy, so like if I feel like if I can like sniff that out, then I probably will remove myself from that situation. Because like if this makes you uncomfortable and I'm just being silly, I probably don't want to work with you. You know what I'm saying? Like that's ridiculous.
You don't even want to work.
Exactly. Like, so I would just remove myself from that situation.
Sure.
What's your funniest creative moment you've had with like anybody? So like, there's a really funny Instagram page I follow. It's called Beggars.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, it's people hitting up creatives and trying to like shortchange them and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever had just like one experience that was just so funny it sticks out to you?
You know, probably not. But I do know that recently I just encouraged a group of people to make a really ratchet ass shaking song. And yes, so like I was just in the room with a bunch of rappers and they had this beat, no words was on it, and then someone said something about shaking ass and I was like, that was hard, go record it right now. And it was like, all right, bet. And then from there it turned into like this really ratchet ass shaking song. It's hilarious, and I'm not on the record, but I like endorse the record. And I don't think that people would believe that if they hear the record and then listen to my music, because I don't make anything like what I just told them to go do, but it made sense. And I was like, nah, y'all should do that. Like, cause you know, cause like you be in the room with your homies and like people be rapping and like something to come out dope and funny, but no one will go record it. Yeah. And you be like, bro, you should go fucking record that shit. I told them to do it. I'm like, the microphone is right there. It's on right now.
Yeah.
Go do it. And they did it. The record turned out low-key fire. Low-key turned out fire. But and I didn't record it. I was at another homie's house. But yeah, y'all will probably hear it soon. And I'll let y'all know which one it is.
Oh, I can't wait.
For sure.
That's unfortunate. There's like a vocal sample interlude where someone called you and were like, you know, what was it? It was like, you know, I need beats from you. Like, stop.
Oh yeah.
Is that real? Or
Yeah. So
someone sent you that for real. Like, I'm trying to put you on. Like, I need beats from you.
yeah. So like, okay. So I told my homie AJ. He's also another artist named Hakuna. Shout out to him. I was like, bro, I told him, I'm like, I have this record and it's basically about me seeing people like, you know, demanding beats and shit from me, but not trying to pay for them, but like they be online like just flexing or just talking like they just got it like that. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, AJ, I need you to be that guy for me. I need you to call me and be like, yo, I don't give a fuck about what you got going on. I need these beats. And I told him I needed him to make it seem like he was doing me a favor. Cause you know that, cause that's how people be. They be like, you know, if you give me these beats, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna give you exposure. You know what I'm saying? Then like we gonna blow up and I get you on the back. I told him to be that guy for me. And then it leads into the song that basically talks about that. So like it was supposed to be like a voicemail that he left for me, and yeah, the song would be like my response to that type of behavior. Yeah, for sure. Shout out to AJ. Yeah, he did that for me like easy, like in one take. Shout out to AJ.
Nice.
So really, man, kind of wrap it up here during the first episode of Season 5 of the Queen City Odyssey Artist Spotlight with Devin Burgess.
Yes.
You got anything else you want to say to the people? Got any upcoming tracks you're about to drop? Anything like that? More visuals? I know you have some in the vault.
Yes.
Anything like that?
Tony Stark video is out right now. Contemporaries video is on the way. That's unfortunately out on all platforms. Sunday morning is out on all platforms. Swooty Mac, Devin Burgess. I got albums coming out that I'm producing for people. Look out for those. If you need an engineer, holla at me. Devin Burgess Music on Instagram. _Burgess Music on Twitter. BURGESS. That's how you spell Burgess. That's it. Shout out Sinjin. Shout out Jay. You know what I'm saying? Gang, we out here.
Send a location, really dig it, yo. Fragments, maybe.